another episode of Conversations with me, Iyore, of course, my amiable self. On today's show, we're going to be meeting a general surgeon. Oh my goodness, I'm glad we're having to do this because it took us a while to try and coordinate our schedules. I mean, she's a surgeon, she's busy, I'm busy, but we're finally doing this, so that's all that matters. So meet General Surgeon Dr. Iyore James, whose love for Ankara is unparalleled. I mean, you can already see, right? She's already like gracing us with like some Ankara outfits. We're going to be talking about it. By day, she saves the day by providing medical care and surgical services to her many patients. And on the side, and I put it aside on a mission, she advocates for better healthcare delivery in Nigeria. Welcome to the show, Dr. James. Really glad to have you, and I can't wait to have this conversation. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you, Iyore. How are you today?
I'm fine. Just really glad to be doing this now. So you're what I call fashionista and brains. I mean, just check out your Ankara outfit. Did you tie the head tie yourself? Because me, I cannot tie to save my life.
Yeah, this ones I can tie, but don't ask me to tie the ashoke because then you lost me there.
Oh, right. So your Ankara outfits are, I mean, you just, and I understand you wear them to work, whether it's like a jacket or, I mean, any opportunity you get, you're always adorning the Ankara. So let's dwell on your love for Ankara. What about the Ankara fabric or outfits do you love so much?
Yeah, so the Ankara outfit reminds me of growing up in Nigeria. Men and women dressed up in this fabric that always told a story. I definitely love the bold colors, the patterns that just continue to evolve. I especially love that the fabric blends Asia, Africa, and European culture, as if to remind us of our oneness despite diversity in ethnicity.
Mm-hmm. So there is, it's funny you mentioned that. I've never thought about it that way. There is, but I do know there's a saying, right? There is unity in diversity. And the fact that we are diverse does not mean, and we're different, does not mean we cannot all come together and collaborate, right?
Right.
Right. Loving the outfit. Like you said, I love the bold colors. It's the exact same reason why I love Ankara. I think just the boldness of it, right? You just step out and there's this extra boost of confidence. I don't know, for me,
Exactly.
There's this extra boost of confidence and you just step out and you're like, yes, I've arrived. People,
yes.
You're not noticing me,
Right.
Okay. Oh, amazing. And the Ankara outfit or the fabric is so versatile. One can use it, to sew outfits for special occasions, so like weddings, as well as for work or casual outfits. I totally love the fabric and the colors. We just talked about it. My goodness, right? But looking this gorgeous, though, I must tell you, there is a price to pay. Oh yeah, serenade us with the chorus of your favorite Afrobeat tunes. Now, let me give you an option so that I'm giving you choices here. You could either do one of the trending Afrobeats these days, or you can take us back to like Nigeria tunes back in the 80s or the 90s. So pick one.
Okay, so you want me to embarrass myself in public?
Yes, basically. Yes.
Okay. So, of course, there are many great Afrobeats, but my first thought is Shina Peters, Afro Juju. I don't even know how to sing the thing. What is it? Shina Peters. Afro Juju, the difference is clear. Of course, the dancing now with the shoulder.
Hey, now I'm dancing. I'm helping. I dancing.
Oh my goodness.
My goodness, Shina Peters was, as in any party you go to. I mean, we're young then, we're like, what, secondary school or so?
Yeah.
Maybe primary school into secondary school. Any party you go to and they not play Shina Peters, it's like you've not. It's like, what kind of party this one? Oh, okay, Thank you so much. That was good. So you know what? You can continue to look this good on my show. That's fine. You pay the dues. Okay. So let's segue into your work as a general surgeon and as a doctor. In 2 minutes or less, give us a little bit of background into why you decided to go into medicine. Was this something you always knew? I guess maybe when you're young that yes, this was a path you wanted to go, or did events come to your aid? I guess just tell us your story.
Absolutely. So I decided to go into medicine because I felt it was the best way I could help people. Because I saw a lot of people and children like me at the time growing up in Nigeria suffering, and myself in boarding school, I almost died from typhoid fever. If it wasn't a really good friend of mine, and I want to shout out to her, Chinwe Woko, who made sure she notified my parents that I essentially wasn't doing well because clearly the sick bay was at the time wasn't really equipped to deal with what I was going through. So for me, and back then, like communication, not like you have cell phones now where you can call
Right.
or whatever. Communication was very limited. So this is why I really decided to do medicine because I thought it was the best way, I could help people.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think I was going to become a surgeon. I went into medical school thinking I was going to become an infectious disease specialist,
All right.
again, with
Okay.
experiences growing up. But it was during my third year general surgery rotation that, I don't want to use the word saw the light, but it was sort of love at first sight, when I saw um, the immediate sort of effect you could have on a patient. So a patient comes in, their gallbladder is bad, you take it out, they feel better right away, So that was
Mm-hmm.
really what pushed me. Plus, it is a skill set that can do a lot of good in a country like Nigeria.
Now there's your mission critical side gig. And this is where you provide advocacy work under the auspices of NPAG, and that stands for the Nigerian Physician Advocacy Group. Tell us about
Correct.
this group. Tell us about how you, as a physician, and your work as a physician weaved into it. Tell us about its mission statement and then highlight some notable achievements that this group has had.
Absolutely. So the Nigerian Physicians Advocacy Group was created by Nigerian American physicians because, we just sort of got tired, or we are tired of the healthcare crisis in Nigeria, which we realize is really a failure in governance. So this group was actually developed to help deal with the governance issue. So a lot of the things we do, or our mandate, is to encourage Nigerian citizens to engage in the processes that affect their lives, policies, making sure that those things are implemented. And so one of the things, a notable achievement that we have done over the year is really helping register people to vote. So we started with a pilot initiative in Abia State because we had a strong volunteer presence there, was able to register over 70,000 Abians to vote. And in this process, was able to screen over 50,000 of those people healthcare screening, so providing free medical screening as a way to lure them to come register to vote. And we are progressing to the next phase where we would like to get these voters to pick up their permanent voters card, or PVCs. We know that in Nigeria, a lot of people register to vote, but PVC collection is a problem. Even more of a problem is people actually getting out to vote. So the whole idea is we've done the registration process. We're going to encourage people again through providing free healthcare screening to get them to pick up their PVCs. And then when it's time to get out, to also, encourage them to get out. Because ultimately, I think a lot of the rate limiting step with a lot of problems in Nigeria is really the governance issue. So this is what we're trying to deal with.
So you see, thanks for breaking it down because I would never have thought, because I'm just thinking, okay, so NPAG, yes, it's advocacy group, but I'm thinking more like medically, inclined. But it sounds more like, again, to tackle the governance issues, you're more like, I hear you. We're encouraging folks to go get their PVCs. We're trying to do everything we can to provide it to make it a seamless process. Because what I hear or what I deduce from what you're saying is, if people can go out to vote and vote for hopefully the right leaders, and those right leaders take over the helm, we can start to see like proper governance in place.
Absolutely. It's as
Am I
simple as
correct?
that. If people are allowed to vote for whom they think will represent them, and the people who are there actually do care about the people they're representing, then it's a no-brainer. I mean, it's why a lot of us move to more developed democratic societies, right? Right. And it's election season, it's midterms now in the US.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
senators and whoever, they are reaching out to their constituents, right? They are doing things based because they know that, well, if we don't do what they want, then the next time we go on the ballot, if he be one kind. So
you're going to be swept away. Exactly.
exactly. So,
Right. Okay. No, that's and guys, we're gonna put the contact email for NPAG if you want to get right. So if how do people support, or how does this group support it, or how can people support the mission statement?
Absolutely. So if you go to www.npagroup.org, that's www.npagroup.org. You find a lot of information about what we're doing, including things that I haven't mentioned, just given the time constraints.
Right. Okay. And then people can support that way. Okay. So
Absolutely.
Guys, we'll also have it, scrolling down in this video just so you can have it, but it's www.npagroup.org. So get on there, check it out and how we can be part of this mission statement. It's laudable. Okay, all right. So now we're gonna segue into a funner. I call it funner because every segment of this episode, or this show is fun. But some are funner than others, So the Brits or Nigerians will say knickers, and then Americans will say
shorts.
Shorts, exactly. Okay. And then the Brits and Nigerians will say, or the Brits will say biscuits. Nigerians, of course, will say biscuits. What will Americans say?
Cookies.
Now, in the Brits, if you're sick and you go to a British hospital and you need to have surgical services done, they take you to a theater. Here in the US, they take you to
we call it the OR. But yeah, you're right. When I'm communicating with friends in Nigeria, it's operating theater. Yeah.
Right. So operating but operating room.
Operating room.
Exactly.
I guess. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. The Brits would say the boot of a car, but Americans would say
trunk. And then if you have an electric car, then it's frunk. Because there's no engine in the front, so it's the front.
Because there's not. I know.
I wonder what the Tesla word for frunk, the UK word for frunk is. Because if the back is,
I guess it's the same. I guess I know. Maybe frunk. I don't know. I know, right? I need to go ask a Brit. Like, hey, what would you call it? Yeah, I know. And then you're driving and you go past the turn that you try to make. So the Brits will say reverse, but then Americans will say
turn around. Back up.
Americans,
back up.
There you go. Back up. Yeah.
So I was like, I was 16 or something, I was in Boston, Massachusetts. And you know how in Nigeria, there's only one type of weather. I mean, it's either is hot, and even when it's cold, it's not that cold, it's still hot, you understand? And as long as the sun is shining, it's hot, right? So this is like, I don't know, October, November in Boston, Massachusetts. And, I'm looking out the window, it's like bright, sunny, it's so nice. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sure it's going to be like super warm when I go out. And I go outside and I'm like, wait, what? Why is it cold? Because the sun is but hey, the things that we learn, right?
The things we learn, the shock to the system. I mean, it's real,
And the first time my ears froze, I was like, wait, what? That has the ability to freeze.
And the things you don't think about, and the things you're like, is that possible? Really? Is that even possible? Yeah. Right. It's fun. And then you quickly, after one winter, you adapt. Because you're like,
for sure. Yes.
You're like, I never, is this how this thing is? I never want to, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Anyway, it's an utmost pleasure having you, Dr. James, on the show. Thank you for your time. So in 1 minute or less, before I let you go, what words of inspiration do you have for anyone out there who's watching this and who's thinking of or wishing to engage in some advocacy work to help the communities that either here in the diaspora or back home in Africa and
Nigeria? So I think for me, there's always hope. And because of hope, there's always an opportunity to make positive change. I'm reminded by a quote by Sean Higgins. He used to be an American professional basketball player. And he said, your wins don't matter and your failures don't matter. Don't stress on what was, but fight for what could be. So I think, yeah, that sort of summarizes, that whole concept of because of hope, things can always be better.
Mm-hmm. So, and then in other words, whatever you're thinking of getting involved with, just do it, right? Just get involved, just jump in, right?
And don't think about, we learn from our failures, right? We learn from everything, failures, successes, but it's not, you can't be held back by what perceived failures you've had in the past, right? You just have to keep on fighting for what could be. So if you need something to change for the better, you remain in the fight for what could be better.
You summed it up. I'm not even going to add anything to that. That is fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. James, for sharing your story with us. Truly inspiring. Fashionista brains. Beauty. It is. It just runs. But Nigeria, we're not the carry last. You understand? This is just how we roll. Viewers, a key takeaway from me, for me, is that we can all start to impact our communities in our own little way. Like she said, don't let the fact that maybe you did something and then you perceived it as a failure, or it didn't quite go according to how you envisioned it. It's not a failure. You've learned from it. You just keep on keeping on, right? There's that goal in mind. You just keep on keeping on. Nothing is too small. But the one advice I'll have is, in doing whatever you're doing, you got to look fashionable in the process. As you can see her, fashionable, okay? If you're the one like her who loves Ankara like me, you get it out and you look confident and you go on, all right? Mighty blessings to whoever invented the Ankara fabric. Just amazing. All right, viewers, there you have it. Until the next episode, I'll say keep well, stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you have, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Have a super sparkly week ahead, and you keep well. Bye now.